This is what happens when you understand how important the Second Amendment is.
15 years old, and I've been shooting for almost 8 years. I've also been a part of the Maryland Rifle Club and Maryland State Rifle Team since I was 11. We shoot semi-automatic AR-15s, and my personal rifle is a Bushmaster. Because of this, I have become eligible for various shooting scholarships around the country to a wide array of even the most prestigious colleges that have shooting teams. Achieving stricter gun control laws would obliterate any opportunity I could have had to attend a decent college on a shooting scholarship. Ever since I first learned how to shoot, the issue with gun violence around the nation became clear. Guns are not the problem, people are. Purging our society of violence and murder cannot be done through gun control legislation. By signing this legislation, you are not signing away gun violence, but instead liberating American citizens of our constitutional rights. You are not eliminating guns from society, but eliminating our ability to protect our lives, liberty, and pursuits of happiness. Chicago, Illinois has had some of the strictest gun control laws in America enacted for the past few years, and it is currently more than twice as likely for you to be killed in Chicago as in the Afghani War. For the past 11 years and 4 months in the Afghani War, 2,166 people have been killed. Now in only 8 years in Chicago, 4,265 people have been killed, and 3,371 of them were from being shot. Is that really something we want to model our state laws after? Now, even of those 3,371, only 37 were killed with a rifle, which is barely 1%. 98% were killed with a handgun, so creating gun control legislation that targets assault rifles has statistically proven to only weed out less than 1% of the problem if you're lucky. I'd also like to point out that none of the guns used in the Chicago shootings were registered or licensed to the people who use them, thus even further proving that simply restricting guns will not stop criminals from using them. Nor will restricting guns stop criminals from harming others in general. On December 14th of 2012, the same day as the Sandy Hook shooting in central China, a man stabbed 22 children and 1 adult. Guns are not needed for mass murder, and robbing American citizens of our rights to own them won't solve anything. You must also consider the fact that the majority of gun violence occurs in low-income neighborhoods. Raising the overall cost of owning a gun through higher licensing and registration fees denies the ability of low-income individuals to protect themselves against the crime focused in the areas they live in. Passing this legislation would be discriminating against these lower-income individuals who are actually at a higher risk of being victimized in crimes. To abolish or severely limit the right of the Maryland residents as a whole to bear arms, which is the intent of the proposed legislation, is to essentially defeat the purpose of our own U.S. Constitution. The entire foundation of the United States was formed on the principle that the government, our government, is a government of the people, for the people, by the people, and taking away the people's right to bear arms is taking away the people's power in the government. The Second Amendment, which grants to citizens the right to secure their natural rights, is the backbone of our democratic society. I hope you all consider these points as you go to vote on this or any other gun control bills.
What an absolute mic drop. I literally could not have said this better myself. All right. Y'all gotta drop a like on this. Head down into the comments and tell me what you think about what she said. Is any part of what she said wrong? She was 15 years old and she went hard for 2A like that. And the thing is, she was right about every single thing. Chicago has horrific gun control laws, and they have probably some of the worst crime in America, damn near in the world, happening in Chicago alone. So yeah, the problem isn't more gun legislation. The problem is actually addressing the issue, which, as she stated and pointed out, is typically happening in low-income places. Funny thing, even with this election that just passed for Maryland, they voted for Angela Alsobrooks. And you know what, guys? I feel bad for Larry Hogan as having lost to Angela Alsobrooks, a person that came out of almost just about nowhere, simply because we don't want Republicans to have control of the Senate and they're gonna do this stuff for abortion. And so the mindless folks of Maryland said, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and vote for Angela Alsobrooks. But guess what, guys? Republicans not only have control of the Senate, but they have control of the House too. And all you just did was destroy your ability to have someone stand up for Maryland when stands need to be made. Angela Alsobrooks is going to go into the Senate House as the representative of Maryland and try to incite more gun control and gun laws. Funny thing is, when the state of New York said, yeah, you know what, we're gonna make this decision to do away with this whole need to concealed carry. I mean, it's ridiculous in itself. Larry Hogan upheld what the Supreme Court said and took that need for a reason away from Maryland. He actually went with what the law is and followed it, while even our current governor, as being Wes Moore, says Hogan should have never did that. He should have never did what? Follow the ruling of the Supreme Court? I mean, I don't know. But when I was growing up, we learned that if the Supreme Court makes this decision, you follow suit. But that's the world that we live in now today, where it comes to we want to deny people their 2A rights by any means. And if you look at the heat map of the polls, guess what place voted Democratic? Yep, you got it. It's the place that has probably the worst infestation of crime, Baltimore. I mean, seriously, people are voting in these areas that gun control make it easier for criminals to do criminal things. It doesn't make sense. But the mainstream media will continue to tell you that, hey, look, we need more gun control laws. We need more gun control laws. It's not gun control that's the problem. The problem is that people are impoverished. People don't have jobs. People don't have money. People then go to turn to crime to steal, to get it, or take it from someone else because they don't have the ability to access these jobs to get the money that they need. So then they say, well, I'm going to take it from you and then be able to have it. She was 15 dropping bombs like this. And you know what's crazy? Nobody listened. This one single video could kill every single anti-gun person's legislation, law, and argument in every possible way. I mean, for God's sake, she's 15 getting scholarships because she was shooting, meaning she was shooting since she was 8 years old, like she said. Since 8 years old, so for 7 whole years, she has been around guns. She's alive. She didn't unalive herself. She didn't harm anybody. So this whole thing about the problem being the gun, it's literally crazy in itself.
Start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns. It's just the guns. And there are things that you can do about it.
I mean, seriously, when are we going to wake up as a society and understand that using your right that was given to you as just simply being born into this country does not make you the problem? The problem is the people who are out there that want to do whatever they want to do when they want to do, and guess what? No law that you make is going to stop them from doing that. All you do is make it harder for people who want to actually follow the law and protect themselves and their family and the things that they work hard for be apparently made into criminals for trying to protect those things from people who don't give a crap and are criminals. Again, this was a mic drop and she was 15. So, and the funniest part was that no politician was able to say anything. Because I mean, what was their best argument? F your scholarship? Or was it trying to refute the statistics and facts that she brought instead of just saying, well, we feel a gun is a problem? But until next time, guys, you know what it is, man. We tactical and we guardians, and we love the Second Amendment over here. So you either catching law or let.